things are about to get interesting, as we do have Glaive with a bit of utility straight out the gates, as expected, preparing for that execution. Or are we not live?
We're not.
We're being told we're not. We were lied to, Seaside. We were deceived.
It's okay. It happens.
Oh, it's a coach issue. All right, that's fair enough. You never want to go without your sixth man. A key component of Counter-Strike nowadays.
It's true.
Yep. Every single team in the ECS EU division has a coach now.
It's what NA almost lacks. Kind of like a coach. Like they're coaches, but they're more like backmen. Like it's Like I know C9 has a coach, but how often do you see him go to LAN? I know he has a full-time job, but it's the same kind of concept, right?
I think it's if you look at the pedigree of coaches in North America, there's a bit of a difference, right? Like you look like a guy like Zonic who has so much experience with CS. Yeah. It makes sense for him to be in that position. Although I would actually give credit to I'm a Pet, the CLG coach.
Yeah, he's been doing work.
Yep, that's a guy who puts in a lot of effort and a lot of well, as you said, work into his prep, right? He's always got that large notebook rolling.
Yep.
And I would attribute some of CLG's recent success to him.
Yeah. Not only are they looking sound, like it's one thing if your players are playing good, but if there's a game plan to play to is like critical. And you nailed it. He just brings everything to CLG, which, you know, not exactly the two teams we're talking about, but since we got into coaches, we kind of dove in a little bit.
Got a little off track, but
yeah,
that's okay, because we're back.
Nice, it's going to be live, and I imagine it's going to be the same buy from both teams, the Glaive buying utility, Lowell, a nade, 5-7, yeah. So the exact same buys we saw before. So, yeah, you can see a decoy, even by it's a decoy, so it's going to spend all the cash possible.
I respect that. I'm going to be intrigued to see where that grenade goes for Lowell. I've seen certain CT teams who, on the pistol round, love popping open the squeaky door so that they can get that line of sight straight into lobby. So we'll see if Lowell does that or if he just tries to use it to counter a kind of rush. And that's what he's prepared for. But the T side not going to actually just go for the execution straight out the gates. Instead, they already start to set up for that ramp peak. And it's Rops, the new blood, who might be tested here.
Maybe momentarily. Looks like Astralis used their smoke early, opening door, flashed out, decoyed out. The smoke is just going to bloom there. Looks like Glaive's just going to play around with it. Oscar put in a rough spot. Pops some shots to the smoke, and they actually all land. So that works out for Mousesports. Get the opener. Rops is going to fall back now as soon as he sees 4 players or Astralis chasing him down. We're going to start the push into B. Rops going to play an off angle towards this corner. Gets the first. Looking for some more, but immediately traded out. But Oscar coming in from ramp. These are a lot of quick rotations.
Yeah, still 4 players up to the CT side, none for Astralis. So Mousesports get the pistol round they certainly wanted. Credit to Rops there, falling back from the ramp, but not falling all the way so that he can't take some kind of a fight or forfeits up the bomb, right? That was a nice little position, a nice off angle that nets him the second frag. And I mean, Oscar with just the heads-up play through the smoke was not buying Glaive's fake whatsoever, but Astralis come back into this one with some Kevlar, with some pistols. They'll go for that buy. The round 3 AKs weren't in the cards, but there are still rifles in play from Mousesports, 3 of which.
Interesting. A lot of times you see like just the UMP kind of flowing across. So it's interesting to see the FAMAS spot up from Chris J. It's a gun that, as well as Rops, it's a gun that's almost underutilized just due to how the game's evolved now. So it's good to see it back out in Chris J's hands and Rops here. As Astralis will have 1 flash that's already used. They're trying to get device down, so he's going to get shut down. And Chris J has to be careful how he peeks this. He's peeking into 3 players. He does have support as Dennis slowly works his way up through Secret. He is going to spot 1 player that was Glaive by Redbox, but it looks like Mousesports are content to just sit and let Astralis now push after they get the opener. And it looks like what Dupree's up to.
I mean, they forfeited the outer control straight at the beginning of the round. Chris J was just posted up to watch for the cross, and he gets one in the process. So at this point, everything they wanted has gone their way. Although Kierby's been able to squeak his way into ramp, which is a little scary. It's a bit of map control given away, but Mousesports, as said, had already fallen back into the sights, right? They know what's been given up. They know the avenues that Astralis could be currently taking, and they need to be prepared for exactly that. I like that Glaive stays outdoors as this sort of anchor. He does still carry that bomb as well, so his life ever so precious. Is really Astralis just burned down the clock here. They're taking their time. We've hit the 30-second mark, and now Glaive's going to get tricky. He's going to maybe think of going back towards the A site. Always has the vent to drop in, but Dupree's been sniffed out towards the heavens. So the 2 defenders here should be able to make quick work of them. It's Oscar with 1 frag off of the M4. Goes down, grabs the second pistol, takes this 2K, and Dennis, meanwhile, with a frag as well, leaves Dupree on his own.
Yeah, I think he is just going to try to get to ramp, maybe stay alive, try to save a Kevlar. No, he is just going to go up and try to get one frag for his life. Instead, Lowell's going to shut him down. So good on Mousesports. You mentioned it right off the get-go as soon as things kind of settled out, is Mousesports were content to give up outside control, use the range of their rifles, get the opening pick, and then they just kind of sat in their positions. No reason to go outside the sites, no reason to aggress somewhere and find a one-on-one. Next thing you know, there's a Tech 9 behind you, and you're done for as soon as the Tech 9 gets close. So it was good for Mousesports to kind of work a game plan and shut him down there. Astralis looks like it just glocks across the board. So look for maybe a quick play or something here.
Yeah, let's get this one out of the way, right?
Yeah.
We want to get into the gun round, so it makes sense that they go for the old squeaky push, but Oscar's there ready to receive. Takes 1, 2, and he will shortly find 3. Chris J as well already finds another, so this round goes exactly how it should. Gun round's now upon us. I do actually want to give a little bit of credit to that second round from Astralis, where if you notice, they didn't give up a lot of information, right? They had Mousesports still committed to both of the bomb sites before they executed in. And in the pre-show, we kind of had that little discussion about how outer yard can be so useful. That's one of the ways that you can play it differently. Not just that outer yard aggression, but also just take the control of the map and then just sit quietly and see what happens. But we are here. We have arrived. There are rifles aplenty.
AKs for everyone. Astralis will have smokes out on every player with a couple flashes. No mollies, but they are going to go right immediately towards outside control. You can see the wall of smokes, the one closest to Big Garage / Secret, the one by Red Box. So first rifle round, Astralis are already going to start to poke and prod and abuse this outer yard some more. Chris J is going to fall off of the heaven position, play underneath what I call Jenny. As they're just going to try to split this out through Mini and Hut. They have 2 players in Hut. Device is going to come out with Kirby. There's 2 players, 2 heaven now, 1 player in Rafters, and it is just going to be on a brawl as Kirby tries to trace that player while he falls, gets one before he hits dirt. As Mousesports now send Dennis towards Mini, he gets immediately shut down as it's all on Rops. Astralis has done a wonderful job of opening up this site as Device finds the last. Astralis taking advantage of outer yard, finding the picks, and just pinching onto the A site.
Yeah, that wall of smokes really kind of prevents Chris J from getting much of an information play from that position. And then because of it, all of a sudden, Astralis are in a prime spot to really swarm the bomb site, right? We see those 3 players come in, or 2 rather, come in from Mini. They're joined by the forces from Lobby at the same time. So it's just that perfect split from Astralis. And I think that's going to be what we should come to expect from them in form of executions, right? They're going to be very seasoned on this map. But Mousesports transition directly into that double op setup between Chris J and Oscar. Again, we talked about this, the depth on that op here for Mousesports, a refreshing feat that they now do hold. And the wall of smokes once more on the outer yard. Dennis tries to spam through, but he's not going to make any contact. And I love these sorts of plays. Yeah. Astralis, again, they use the smokes, but have they crossed a secret? Have they just stayed over towards Lobby? There's very little information for Mousesports to work with, and now they'll be able to quickly swarm B when they so choose. But the first flick connects, and that's Oscar with the pick.
And he's immediately going to fall back to ramp and allow rotations to come through, so he's willing to concede the site to keep that man advantage, allow rotations to come through. As Astralis are thinking about continuing this push, a little bit of a miss molly is going to keep that player sink at bay. Dupree's going to have to just re-molly vents and sit behind this, wait it out. As Mousesports haven't even over-rotated this situation. They're playing it perfectly. Oscar falls back by himself to ramp. If they continue the push, he'll call for rotation. Zipnik's going to take the head off of Chris J, while Oscar's going to try to fight back. Now he may need some assistance, though.
Yeah, we're back into the 4v4. There's still smoke grenades to play on the site, but oh, Dennis from behind catches Zipex looking the wrong direction. So now that man advantage shifted back to the Mousesports side, but 30 seconds left to play off of is not all that much. Again, the smokes have at this point been expended, so they're going to have to somehow remove Oscar from the equation. He's still holding the angle from ramp, and it's Dupree's job to find this frag, which he does. The plant comes through thanks to Glaive, and that B bomb site's firmly in the hands of Astralis.
That's a play for Dupree to just walk push. Oscar catching him, scoped in on the site as Romps is going to try to work in from ramp now. Bomb is ticking away. There's 2 kits in play on Dennis and Lowell. As Romps is going to be the lonely ramp player, and he is going to open up on Dupree. Now this may be a tell sign. Mousesports are going to go. Glaive is going to sit here, backed by double doors, Devices in control room. So they can support each other as a moment's notice. As Mousesports are going to slowly start to take this 1 player sink. 1 player coming from control. Rops gets the opener, jumps on bomb, but Glaive can only get 1 as the defuse should come through, and Mousesports will go up 4-1. And what was a nail-biting kind of slow retake But once they actually got the positions, they knew where the last 2 players were. They just converted and used their numbers to the best advantage, and now they're up 4-1.
I mean, speaking of numbers, 12-2 straight out the gates for Oscar. I mean, that's one hell of a start.
That's insane.
Coming into this match, you know, we discussed who was going to be the favorites, and it clearly should be Astralis. But if somebody decides to have a game like that and can continue forward with enough rounds, we're going to be seeing Astralis at least struggle for the opening bout. They are back into the pistols, and on this one, they've got the bare bones to work with, 2 sets of Kevlar, a smoke, and a couple upgraded pistols. Now, this is where these deagles can be oh so crucial. We saw a lot of slow plays in the outer yard earlier, but it's Rops with an opening frag. Oscar gets the pick, so already the hopes of Astralis go from slim to none.
Yeah, I think they have the bomb at ramp as well, so Dennis gets 1. Device actually brings it back a little bit, so he gets 1 frag with his deagle. Not much Device and Glaive can really do with no utility. Not much really going their way right now. The bomb is down, so Mousesports are just going to sit on it. Just kind of hang out, have a little bit of a party. Device is going to do his best with his deagle to fight back. This round should go Mousesports' way unless something just drastically happens, like Device getting a couple more kills with his deagle. But Mousesports should have this one in the bag unless somehow it gets away from them. It would take a miracle almost.
Multiple miracles.
Multiple. Yeah, you need a lot.
That's certainly not going to help. Rops getting a little aggressive there. Easy frags for him. Again, they know the buy. At this point, Glaive's just looking for maybe 1 frag. I'm going to be interested to see if Astralis continue with that wall of smokes on the outer yard, just because, again, you can do so many different things with it. We've already seen 2 variations on the very same play. The first time they use that wall of smokes, they creep towards Mini, and then they really explode into the A bomb site, right, which nets them that 1 round they have on the board. The follow-up gun round, they go for the wall of smokes and then creep 4 players down towards B, and despite losing that initial man advantage, they still find the bomb plant and near hang on for the retake as well. So it was exciting stuff from Astralis, and it's coming off of the back of this outer play where Glaive decides to lead the charge. But nothing found, just as of yet. We've got Oscar posted up, and there's Oscar with the opening pick. So again, that AWP having so much impact in the hands of Oscar. Who needs Chris J?
Chris J can just rifle. Full trust in Oscar. And Zipness somehow comes out on top of that duel. You think Lowell has him dead to rights just based on the angles alone. But he will be able to bring him back to a 4v4. As Glaive gets himself down, able to win that duel against Dennis. Dennis had the angle again, and Zipness is heating it up, finds Chris J. So this round is just a picking apart Mousesports across the map. As Astralis are finally going to solidify push into B. They're going to get the bomb planted. As the round started off well for Mousesports, it slowly started to fall apart as Astralis across the map, across the board, just found the picks.
Oscar's going to fall back. At this point, you could already call the save. I mean, a 2 versus 4 into the site. Sure, you've got Glaive and Zipex quite lit, but at this point, it's worth keeping those weapons, right? You know that Astralis haven't gotten all too much in these previous rounds. So sure, those exit frags will always be so tantalizing, but you can let this one slide. You can see the money here for the terrorists quite low. Oscar still has a nice chunk of change in the bank, and Lowell doesn't, right? So these 2 weapons will be crucial in justifying the buy in the follow-up round. That's 2 consecutive for Mousesports before we have the response from Astralis. Again, they go for that bit of outer aggression. We see Glaive kind of, looking for a pick and then getting shut down thanks to Oscar's op. But Oscar has been very dynamic in his op positioning already, right? We've seen multiple first kills from the heavens, but then the immediate rotation towards the bottom of ramp. So they're getting a read, or at least they think they're reading what is this outer to B play Astralis look to exploit. I think that would justify a really fast A play right now from Astralis. That would be the really sweet changeup that I think would work out for them.
Yeah, if you're able to just isolate Oscar, get him out of a site, get in the site, just make the retake even that more difficult. Because you'll have utility left after a full-blown A run. You'll have plenty of utility for the post plant, so it looks like Dennis is going to get aggressive towards the red box. He gets 1, will do damage onto Dupree. Dupree will end up trading it out as Chris J towards his own bin. It's the blue bin is going to play around it as KRB Molly Secret. They push up, so Astralis have kind of like the ideology of Mirage, where you throw the top mid smoke every single round to keep pressure. I think this is kind of what Astralis is almost like default is transitioning to throw the smokes out or keep pressure, even if they don't want to commit to it. But this time they are going to go in on the back of it, push into Mini. It's on Lowell. He's able to get the first opener, and he's looking for some more, but no. Zipnix is going to bring him back to reality as Mousesports now have to retake the A site, although they do have some utility to do so.
Yeah, exactly. They've still got the nades to play off of, and with Dupree's Molotov, he can burn off one of these avenues, which will, of course, prevent Mousesports from all pushing at the exact same time. But Chris J's been able to sneak his way in, and he catches Device from the back of vent. So Dupree on the site itself, and then Zipex pinned down behind the corner, sees the man from ladder, takes him out. And now it's up to Chris J to exit wide. Zipex hits the sext, and it's just going to be Oscar. pistol in hand, rounds the corner, up close and personal. He will take 4 kills in the round. Zipnex is a monster. I mean, we saw in the previous where he gets that exit out from Squeaky. That's his opening frag, goes out towards the outer yard and does it again. And then this round, once more, just having that heavy impact. So Zipnex now standing up and really taking this game back into the hands of Astralis after that strong start from Mousesports.
And Mousesports are going to buy into this. So round 9, they had enough money to get the op out of Oscar. And I guess a game like this, when Oscar's having just an absolute ringer, getting openers, putting up frags. You mentioned round 6, he had 12 kills already. And as I talk him up, I guess the curse kind of happens there. Device gets the opener. He's able to get in a second. So Mousesports invested into this. An op, 1 rifle, UMP and pistols. And it's already not starting off well for them as Device. Lovely squeaky open and gets two massive openers.
Here's Dupree with a MAC-10. Going to find the head of Rops as well. So I think that's a nice change up from Astralis, right? That's the first time we've actually seen an op in the hands of the terrorists, and it opens up with Device getting that first 2 frags. So nice little transition in the play, especially since in the previous round we saw Mousesports kind of read that outer push, right? The first time a CT gets round the side of Red Box, full flash from the team as well, helps him get those kills. And at this point, it's just Astralis cleaning up shop, but Dennis has something to say about it at the very least as he catches Dupree towards B. His position now known, Zipex goes for the plant, and then you have Device posted up for another frag. So again, that op comes out, and it shines through. 3K on the round for Device.
Yeah, there's nothing like getting to Squeaky, opening the door, and just shutting down Oscar, one of the more deadly players on Mousesports. So beat him with the pull the trigger, beat him with Squeaky, open the door, and just open up the site for Astralis, who are now just 1 round down while Mousesports going to buy some P250s here, armor out on Oscar. Chris Jay's not going to buy anything, so it's P250s, 1 USP, no utility, a set of armor. Don't have high hopes for this round, but anything is possible, especially with P250s. Rops is going to play a close angle, well cleared from Dupree as he just wide swings on it. And he's kind of the man with the MAC-10 who's, I don't think he's going to stop moving this round. He's just going to be looking to farm and find info.
Yeah, he has no reason to stop.
Yeah.
I mean, all of the momentum and kind of strength that was derived from Mousesports' beginning of this game has already been lost, right? All the economy's gone. The only thing they've got going for them now is going to be that start of the round loss bonus. So Astralis are back in control as they should have been straight from the get-go. Mousesports going to be able to buy thanks to that making an appearance yet once more, but we've got M4s also across the board. 2 kits. They're here, they're ready, but they don't have a counter to that op from Device. And again, that's been a kind of change towards Ramp and Squeaky, uncontested. Then this is, one of the best players in the world, so how do you slow him down?
They need the utility, they need the economy is really the only answer to that. Device is just going to immediately post up. They go for the typical smoke out towards Squeaky. Device is just going to sit in lobby, see if you can't find a frag towards Ramp. Outside of Hut, open Squeaky, find a pick towards Mini. As Astralis, they go for the smokes really early on towards outer, and that was their start to this match. And now they're kind of just settling into a default in the opposite end Device and just putting full trust in him to find the frags across the map, find an opener somewhere towards Ramp, towards Mini, towards Hut, and they're content to just sit now once they get a couple rounds under their belt.
Yeah, I mean, they were playing at this pace when they didn't really have the money or the advantage of the game going for them, right? So now that they are kind of on the front foot, there's no reason for Astralis to play differently. But Rops is going to see a smidgen of the player there, and he does a lot of damage as well. Dupree dropped to 6, the incendiary goes out, and Rops intelligently falls away, right? Doesn't want to kind of poke the beast and have that push come through. Device looking for the pick, but there's no repeak here, and that's a smart play from Rops.
Yeah, that just heads-up play. It's smart decision-making, because you think a young kid, all he wants to do is take gunfights, but now Rops is going to fall back, play it safe. He's been put into his... Ooh, that nade actually came dangerously close, if that would have bounced the wrong way. Dupree is down on 6. We mentioned earlier, Rops got that. Smart decision to fall back in control. There is a gap in that smoke, though, that Rops can play with, which is kind of an opener. But Astralis have kind of split the defense of Mousesports. They've kept a couple players towards Squeaky and a couple players lower. And they're going to try a pinch on this site. Dennis Lowell locking it down, but Lowell needed a frag there. Oscar tries his best, as it is all on Rops coming from Ramp. But look at the HP on Dupree and Zipnex.
Yeah, this is going to be a really cool situation for Rops, right? He has the advantage of the health, and he also has the gun. All he has to do is outsmart 2 of the best players in the world. Yeah. They've got the low HP, so this is a very winnable clutch for him. He's just trying to get some kind of an information, looking for a smidgen of a man, but the shot rains out, and Zipnex goes down. Dupree is all that's left. Now, he has no clue where he's coming in from. Could be on the outer side, could still be within lobby, and it's inside of Hut that he resides. Rops, though, time ticking, needs to get towards the bomb itself. No kit currently on the play. Does he check his corners, though? So dangerously close. As he taps it once, no peek. Dupree knows better. And as he walks wide, oh, Rops will take the kill because he survives on 4 points of health. A nice attempt, but it's not good enough.
Yeah, it came really close, and it came down to checking that corner last second. Decided not to, could only afford to tap the bomb once and bait it out. Then when he realized he conceded the round, Astralis take the first round lead here. They're going to take a 1-round lead over Mousesports, as they're going to go for another kind of interesting buy here. FAMAS, AK saved, and it's kind of critical that if Rops doesn't stay alive there, that's Chris J either on a UMP or a pistol. They be lacking some utility as well on one of these players who are able to drop as Lowell towards Catwalk again. He's been playing that position so well. He's getting a frag before he falls every time. Oscar with the good timing on the rotations, but Astralis are just not missing their shots now. They're playing at more of a feverish pace, and just these executions mixing up with slow rounds have been getting Mousesports kind of sprinting all over the place.
Yeah, speaking of sprinting, Device is just going to fall towards ramp because that's where Dupree's been able to find an entrance to the B site. And this is actually within the very same moment that Mousesports fall away from A. We saw the player up on the heavens who decides not to take the fight, but instead just reposition. And unfortunately for Mousesports, it contests or gives up that B site. Dupree, inside the vents, is able to take Dennis, and it's just down to Chris. And he's yet to be spotted, but he takes the head of Dupree, and this suddenly becomes the 1v1. Device within the corner, though, well, he's already trained on the angle. Hits the headshot, and will take Astralis to that 2-point lead.
Yeah, now Mousesports are in an awkward spot where their money is kind of awkward. If we take a look at the scoreboard, I think Oscar is still putting up so many numbers. What, 18 frags right now for him? Yeah, he's doing work. And it's only really when he has the op, he goes to town. Right now, it seems to be without the op, Mousesports lose that kind of pressure across the map, and they seem almost a little diverted from what they want to focus on. As Lowell's been playing upper catwalk pretty much every single time, if not top hut. He's been at least getting a frag once in a while when they execute, but it's almost not enough now as you're playing against Astralis, who are going to either out-frag you or trade so fast your head's going to spin, and next thing you know, they'll have the sight. As again, outer yard control.
The problem with this buy for Mousesports is that it completely gives up the outer yard, right? So they're going to have to wait for the Astralis execution, and Astralis is the kind of team that don't take these uncalculated risks. If you up close though, Oscar takes the headshot, so that's a bit of a start. But now they have an understanding as to what's going on, right? We see the windows being broken by Zipex, so possibly setting up some grenade executes into A, which is all right once they get past those initial choke points, right? You're within the site, it's going to open up, the spaces there to play off of. We can see Astralis now have the entirety of the outer yard. They're not worried at this point, even with that 4 versus 5. It's just the SMGs they'll have to deal with, and unless someone from Mousesports gets one hell of a multi-kill, it's not going to go their way. Oscar has found a second, but Device and Zipex are able to swing it back, and Device from the heavens above finds Oscar himself. Rops hits the dirt, and it's just down to Dennis. Zipex plants the bomb, and again we see Mousesports in a 1v2.
He will pick up the AK, but immediately dropped by Zipnix. Excuse me, that's a 3K for him, I believe. As Astralis will keep pushing the lead, 8-5. Mousesports, they will get a buy, and it will include an op on Oscar. So at least it comes back out now. Round 14, better late than never, as Oscars continue to have a hell of a game. But this time they actually throw it over to Chris J. You mentioned they have that dynamic kind of flow to their play now, as Chris J is going to take the op. Now, the way Oscar's playing, maybe he's just feeling the rifle now later parts of this half. Or this could be a completely spawn-based thing for Chris J to go pick outer now that they can have the pressure towards Marshmallow and towards the T side of outside.
Yeah, there's a player above as well. Dennis is going to spot him out, and he takes the frag, the headshot found to Kierby. So 5 versus 4 again for Mousesports, but we've seen them in this position before just to lose the round. We'll see Astralis start to transition towards ramp, and it's there that Rops takes 2, maybe 3 as the flash goes wide. Zipex with the frag. Chris J rotates over, shoots one shot down range, and repositions to heaven. So Mousesports have extended that man advantage, but they've given up ramp, and this is going to allow for Zipex to now work his way behind enemy lines where he hits the headshot. Chris J goes down, a second frag possibly on the cards here as the man's up close and personal.
Glaive just posted on Mini, waiting for the peek. He'll spot the player, will find Dennis. So it's now a man advantage, or it was evened up actually immediately. So it's a man advantage for Mousesports. Just as I say, it's going to be evened. Oscar trades it out. That's a frag for him this round. Lowell and Oscar, last 2 remaining. Zipnix in a 1v2. And the critical thing that he has on his side right now actually is 2 things. He has time to work with, 40 seconds, and he has the bomb in his back. So he kind of has the nice ability to go wherever he really chooses. And it looks like it is going to be towards B. Immediately gets spotted towards control. Oscar gets 2 there. So from AK to rifle, he's able to transition nicely. Mousesports will get another round on the CT side. Round 15 rolls around, And they can't afford an op, so it is just going to be rifles and maybe a UMP out for Mousesports. Depends how they want to break this out. No, it is just going to be rifles across the board. Rops will be lacking utility. So an interesting decision to leave Rops, who is the ramp player with no utility. I imagine he's going to play it more passive. But Astralis get a full buy for the final round. Astralis looking really good to take this 9-6.
Yeah, 7 consecutive rounds, though, from Astralis here. Yeah. So the odds of Mousesports finding a second, based on numbers, should be slim. Device posted up.
Wow.
Great little boost there. We hadn't seen that yet from the T side of Astralis, but they did see the op from Chris J out there in the previous round. So they read it like a book, and they find that opening frag. Great stuff from Astralis as Kierby finds the next. It is just down to the 5v3 already. Mousesports have the inner control, but what do they do with that? Astralis are now going to transition into what they were doing before, which is that slow outer play. They set up for the execution, and that's when they should go wide. But it's Oscar getting a chance here as he peeks towards the outer garage. Glaive whips back round and takes him down. 5v2.
Now, Rops is in kind of like the money position in hell right now. Lowell's feeling pressured. They're trying to challenge. The flashes are too strong. KRB takes him down. Rops, well, just shot in the back from Glaive. So that's kind of how the cookie crumbles at that half. Great half from Oscar. 23 frags. No one else on his team's even in double digits. That is a hell of a performance.
That's incredible.
That is unreal in 15 rounds.
I mean,
it's crazy.
It's sad to say, but unfortunately, you know, one of the variables of a possible Mousesports upset would have been who goes off, right? If somebody has a crazy performance, you know, something along the lines of a 2.56 KDR, of an 150 ADR, you know, that's the kind of individual performance that can win games.
Yeah.
I'm getting, you know, this is almost reminiscent of Nico.
Nico vibes. Yeah, we're going back.
Second pistol now underway, but the CTs have no utility. It's just going to be the Kevlar for them. And the same can be said for Mousesports, who have already stampeded their way down ramp. Zipex falls back to the site, very reminiscent of Rops, but he's going to close the door behind him here, trying to buy time as the T side come through. They barely check the corner. Chris J will take it. 4 versus 3 here for Mousesports' favor. Turn 4v2, but Device nipping at the heels of Rops pops his head and nearly finds another. But it's responded back upon, and Glaive with 4 health has no chance of winning this round.
Yeah, Astralis really wanted a fight there on the CT side. The bomb didn't even go down that round.
Nope.
Like, that was just heads up. We want to fight you. We're going to send our players down vents. We're going to take aim duels. Even though Mousesports were already on the site, the bomb was already there. They're never given a chance to plant it due to Astralis just want to just take these head-on engagements and just fight it out. So Mousesports win the pistol. They're immediately going to go in on round 17 with 2 AKs, 3 UMPs, a very typical buy in the situation. Rops will have no utility. The UMPs will make up for it, as Astralis will get the Scout, upgraded pistols, nothing too crazy in their regard with what they can buy. But Mousesports now are just going to slow things down, look for the opener, and we may see some smoke execution. I imagine it's going to be a default poke for information, try to get the opener, see if Astralis do anything aggressive, and here you go, yeah, they spot Zipnet. The only smoke bot gets thrown. Those Mousesports are just going to fall back now to lobby.
The CTs have no utility at this point to hold anything on with, so someone's going to have to kind of turn up here. Either get aggressive with the pistols, try to take a frag once these smokes fade, or even just, I guess, wait to see where Mousesports decide to throw themselves. Because that's what they should do, right? Just push as a unit, stick together, play those trade frags, make sure that suddenly Kierby or Dupree don't find themselves with an SMG in hand or one of those 2 AKs, right? You could all of a sudden just lose the entirety of the round if you lose one of those guns. But it's Device to deal some damage off of the Scout, and it's Zipex to follow suit. Device peeks back wide and drops Dennis, but Rops and Oscar take 2 themselves. However, the health is incredibly low for the terrorists, barring Lowell. Kierby with the Deeg, always so dangerous, but he comes up empty-handed.
Yeah, now Kierby is just going to fall back towards hell, play it safe. Rops is looking for something out. He's extremely tagged. Oscar's on 2. It's kind of on Lowell to almost go in first at this point, or just send the players in first and bait. It's really whatever how they want to play it out. As Oscar has the bomb, so he's going to be the man to try to push into the site. Dupree playing dark corner, which is now kind of extra safe with the boxes. As the Molly's thrown to clear him out, but they don't hold for it. So he's able to get 1 frag for his troubles. Glaive rotates immediately in towards Vent. Kierby strikes from behind. And just like that, that is how Astralis with a team ace will pick apart Mousesports. From the Scout doing damage to the pistols up close and personal, always netting themselves a frag. and Mousesports being a little disjointed and peeking one by one almost into those pistols.
It's crazy to think that they win that round without ever really retrieving a weapon. The only gun that's picked up is Kierby retrieving the scout of device, right? So everybody does their job. Everybody gets one frag, and luckily for them, Mousesports burned down the time way too low. You can see with the execution towards the B site, suddenly there's only 10 seconds on the clock, and you can see the panic starting to set in, right? Mousesports, unfortunately for them, do not convert the pistol. And I was going to say, if they get both pistol rounds and consequently that, that 6-round grouping, they would have had a bit of a chance on the T side, but it's Kierby up close, near blind, but he's finding frags aplenty. Him and Dupree combine for 2, but Lowell and Rops do the same. And now Zipex from behind, able to take another. The HP on Mousesports so dangerously low, but at least they have the bomb site to work with. Device peeks out, finds one, Zipex takes the last, and Astralis do what Mousesports couldn't. They survive versus the pistols.
Yeah, they'll live. Mousesports are just probably going to buy maybe some flashes, some P250s, nothing too crazy here. And this is just extremely well played by Kierby. Just using his teammates' positioning, that player coming through smoke to assist out, the flashes, and that just playing with confidence and playing knowing that you're going up against pistols. You want to hold your ground with the AK, having that support and backbone as Astralis will get to 11. Mousesports, couple P250s, 0 utility whatsoever. It may just be one of those rounds where you just put yourself out to the slaughter, knowing you don't have too many options, not too many chances, unless Astralis hand you a couple rifles right off the get-go. And there's not much you can do with clocks.
I like when rifles are positioned on the floor of the A site as opposed to above, just because it allows you to do something like that. Yeah. You go wild with a spray, the players are going to line up. Even if you miss the first man, somebody behind him is going to take his spot. If you're playing from the rafters, then sometimes you can have people who let the rifles kind of get out of control. The angling is just not as much to your advantage. So, cool little play there from Astralis. They get up close and personal. They don't shy away, as they shouldn't. It was just Glocks. But a 5-point lead now for Astralis, and I'd say this is what a lot of people would have expected, right? Mousesports trailing by a significant lead, Astralis just holding steady and doing what they do best, not making mistakes and punishing those of their opponents.
So we are going to see the smokes out for Mousesports. The smokes Astralis heavily abused in their T side. It's now going to get used for Mousesports. We'll see how this is actually going to work out for them and how Astralis are going to answer now on the CT side. And they're already going to deal with Rops, the man who was sent to go to Squeaky. Cause some havoc, try to get down vents, be the thorn in the side of Astralis. He's already shut down. As they have a device towards Sync, he's going to wait out Mousesports. And it looks like he's content to just steer here, actually. He's by double doors control, excuse me. As he is going to peek, though, gets the opener on Oscar. But Mousesports are starting to get some frags to bring it back, and you have to deal with the device, though. They kind of just wanted to ignore him.
Yeah, Lowell's the only man with somewhat of a chance here. Chris J was so damn low on health, but Zipex from the heavens above takes 2 again. I mean, we talk about individual performances and seeing, Oscar at the top of the kill feed for Mousesports, but Zipex has really been stepping up as well. He now hits the 20 bomb, and Device isn't far behind him, right? You could argue that's the difference maker at this point. Mousesports was a bit of a one-man show on that CT side, whereas Astralis, as per usual, everyone can step up to the plate. It's going to be pistols aplenty for Mousesports once more. Some grenades to play off of as well, which is always exciting. We can see some kind of an execution when they decide to rush a site. By the looks of it, that will be A.
Yeah, early smokes out to negate the mollies. They're going to run through him. Chris J is going to try to get on site. Doesn't spot anyone. Now we'll spot the full blind player Kierby towards Upper. As look at these pistols go. Lowell's got 2 in the corner. And all of a sudden, it starts to turn around for Mousesports. As Astralis, they're blind. They're making radical plays by jumping out of heaven. And just the little missteps lead to Mousesports' way. And they're getting really good to pick this up. I think Glaive is just going to fall back. So Mousesports will get 8 on the board thanks to good utility usage, their own smokes causing a little bit of confusion and mayhem, and Astralis a couple missteps in their positioning.
Yeah, I mean, this is a kind of round that Astralis don't normally lose, right? They're kind of revered as one of the teams who make the smallest amount of mistakes, and that's why it's so hard to win against them, because CS, it's always about punishing, and it's so hard to do that. But I think what really works out for Mousesports in that round is that was a very unexpected timing on that push, right? There was still the initial Molotovs of Astralis burning. Astralis then extinguished their own flames with some of their own smokes, and it's within that moment that Mousesports just walk out, right? Chris J gets all the way wrapped around Silo here, removes a man from the rafters above, and then it's Lowell up close who catches Dupree mid-jump. The reason Dupree is jumping is because he had no clue there was already players on the bomb site, and Device just gets his teeth kicked in on that 3rd kill from Lowell. So nice stuff there from Mousesports. They put one on the board, and they get themselves some guns.
All-in investment now from Astralis. So this is going to be the last remainder of their money. They even have one player in a 5-7 when barely anything because Glaive died after time to bomb. And again, wall of smokes, there's a gap in it though. Glaive's going to play around with this 5-7. Good damage dealt to Lowell. As Dennis is going to get down. Good opener on the Device. Now this may be the floodgates open. That's the op gone. Device isn't there to cause havoc when he can post up somewhere. But Zipness is going to do his best from control, but immediately traded for Mousesports. This is what they need. The immediate trades, the pressure. As they're going to now try to push into B where Dupree needs some help.
Yeah, Dupree's still sitting behind the site itself. Glaive gets removed, but that's just the pistol down. Dupree's still looking for help here, at least some kind of a contact. Makes the man towards control, at least fall back to safety. That allows for the ramp peek. And, oh,
wow,
he hits the headshot just as Rops gets the trade. So it leaves KRB in a 1v3. Dennis, low HP. Rops spotted, but Rops takes it. Great play from the young gun, and Mousesports just one short of double digits.
Yeah, wall smokes outside, even though there was a gap in them, they're still able to get down secret. It wasn't hidden. It's not like Astralis didn't know that was coming. So they get down secret, they get the opener on Device playing the corner, and then they just go with it. They keep the flow going, they get the player control, they get the numbers, they get the trades, they get into the site, and then Astralis are kind of almost put in awkward situations where Dupree was sitting on site alone for pretty much the remainder of that round. Now Mousesports are one round away from getting double digits. They get the op out on Oscar, the UMP, and force Astralis into this kind of upgraded pistols kind of buy, which, you know, you give Mousesports an inch, or how should I say, you give Oscar an inch, now he may take a mile and start to run with this.
All right, trying some wall bangs.
I like that.
That's the beauty of Nuke, right? There's still a lot of wall bangs from like ramp into lobby. I don't think it's as exploitable as it used to be, but you don't see teams necessarily going for those kinds of things all too often. I think of like the body bang on Cash now, the one that Body gets the
every pug.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's just like it's kind of in the limelight at this moment, right? And there's a lot of angles like that exist on multiple maps, Nuke being one of them. So he tries to get the wall bang onto the player who would be posted above. We saw Rops playing there on his CT side, but it's KRB the first to fall in the outer yard as Dennis just creeps through the smoke and removes that threat, leaving the majority of it towards ramp.
Yeah, what can Device do here is Dupree gets shut down. Device is boosted. He is playing with Zipnix towards ramp. They're kind of hoping Mousesports throw one player here and then he can pick up a rifle, maybe try to get one player out of there to stay alive. But I think more certainly set and cement, those two words together are actually difficult to say. Try it. It's difficult. As Mousesports should pick up 10 here. Looks like Device is going to push out. Zipnix is thinking about the same. So the pistols will get shut down. Mousesports now make it doable. They're within 3 rounds. They keep, more importantly, 5 members alive, so that's going to push their economy. So.
Yeah. This now starts to get a little bit scary for Astralis, because speaking of economies, theirs isn't in the best of states, but they do have the 5 frags. Something interesting is about to unfold. This should be a treat. But even if it works out, as you were alluding to, there's so much cash on Mousesports that if or when they lose another round, they'll bounce back fine. It's up to Astralis now to kind of, you know, pump the brakes here on this. The nade stack to the outer yard. Near takes Dennis, and it will. Dupree with the final bit of damage there, but already CT's push forward. Oscar on the sidearm, trying to find something to work with here. There's nobody going through the smokes, though. So once that opening frag has been found, they try to fall on back. Lowell from above finds a response, and Rops will do the same. 4 versus 3, made 4 versus 2, as these CTs fall one after another.
Yeah, Rops just going to mop him up. He gets 3. Dupree pushes out a ramp. He has a good idea of what's coming his way, but can he hold on with a P250? Will win the initial engagement against Oscar, who is now, he's just kind of in a pickle, right? They know where he is. He has 2 kills already. A third would just be icing on the cake. They almost give it to him. Chris J cleans it up. So Mousesports keep 3 alive. Their economy, I think everyone's over 10K almost. Now Chris J's at 8,900, so he's up there. But now the full buy comes out from Astralis. They've been reserved. They didn't force. They didn't do anything too crazy. Kind of like any Mousesports buys when they were on the CT side. Astralis are very reserved in this situation, knowing the scoreline, knowing how close it is. And it's a full buy now. Kits, utility, ops, everything they got going.
Yeah, Mousesports, the kill distribution as well has started to kind of taper off, which is nice to see, because that's exactly how they were going to come back to this game, is if everyone starts putting up frags. Glaive's immediately going to get himself into secret, but it's Oscar with that opening pick as he wins the op duel versus Device, and things get tricky. But Glaive's still in a good spot to line these players up and knock them down. They're just trying to push through, and he reveals himself with one. Lowell, again, trading the frag back immediately. And that's a difference that we didn't see on that first half. The trade frags were absent. Inside of the A site, though, is where Dupree near finds a frag. He's lost a teammate by his side as Kierby hits the dirt. Dupree cowering behind the boxes. And it's Zipex to save at least one, but he too toppled, and Mousesports move ever closer to that tied game. 13-12 now on the board.
Mousesports get rifles, they pick up a couple rounds, start stringing some together, build a bank, and now Mousesports are just loving the outside kind of like Astralis did. This is the outer yard. It's kind of like the focal point, as I touched on a little bit. I'll talk about it more later, but it's kind of like the focal point of Mirage mid. The outside is almost the same idea where you have access to A, down secret to B, you can get to CT, you can kind of just post up. Same ideology when it comes to mid or Mirage. It's just a map opener. It's something that needs to be contested, and Astralis are trying to fight it, but Mousesports are just denying them any kind of pressure towards outer, even with the nades and pistols, as this round is just going to turn into a little bit of a meat grinder. Astralis go for the push in lobby, they lose 4 players, and now the 5th will fall. Mousesports all of a sudden tie it up, and this game gets interesting and a little closer.
Silver lining for Astralis would be that full round loss bonus, right? So they're going to be bouncing back with all they could ask for. But it has now been 6 unanswered rounds,
That's a lot.
which is what we saw in the first half. We saw that, strong pistol start just to be kind of flopped onto its head. So this is exciting. This is now kind of being mirrored. And if you had asked me coming into this one what the variables to a Mousesports win would have been, it was going to be somebody stepping up with a crazy individual performance. And I would have argued a strong CT side. Because one thing that I would have doubted Mousesports for would have been a good T-half on Nuke, right? You need a proper amount of team-based executions. You need a nice amount of trade fragging to make it work. And this is something that they have been doing. And unfortunately for Astralis, they just seem to not have a response as of yet. They've tried to put the op in the hands of Device. He loses that duel in the previous round. So we'll see what they change up coming into the 27th. But you are absolutely right in saying things get interesting. There is not many rounds left to play.
Yeah, not too many. We're on 27, as you mentioned. Mousesports, again, the wall of smokes towards outer. I see a trend here from both teams, as it's just going to be a full-blown wall of smokes. Dennis is going to push through it, get into secret. He's going to have support from his teammates who are kind of staggering behind him. So you stagger so you don't get all shot at once if a spray comes through. As Gearby's going to shut down Romps. He's kind of been the pressure towards Squeaky and upper sight for Mousesports. Normally, he has done a good job of getting one. This time, he gets none. So we'll see how this is actually going to work out in Astralis' favor as a man advantage. Chris J is about to push in towards control. But look at Zipnix. He has a good idea of what's going on.
The entirety of Astralis have an idea as to what's going on, right? They've got that player towards the vents as well. They had 2 guys down here towards ramp at first because they've read into the Mousesports secret play. And as you had said, they lost Rops at the beginning, right? Which was a key component of keeping up the A pressure. But if no one's towards A, then Astralis can just lie within B and wait for this push to move forward. Dupree takes the first, but it's traded back by Chris. Again, these kills on point. 45 seconds left as Zipex comes through the smoke, though. And once more, they swing back and forth until Device finds Oscar, and it's just down to Dennis. The Molotov from the left gives the man away, and as he goes in, he maybe could have gotten the second, but Kierby quick to respond himself, and Astralis back in the lead.
See, now what's scary here is Astralis only keep 2 members alive. Now, those 2 players have to drop to get a strong buyout from Astralis. There's a reset potential in 28, which is a super scary factor. There's going to be a UMP. They will get 3 rifles, a UMP and an op. But if they get reset here, Mousesports could get match point before anything else gets really answered. So this is a super important round. This is a game-changing round, and Mousesports are going to change up the pace. Chris J's just going to run out, and he's got the opener with Romps. Lovely stuff from Mousesports to just switch up what they're up to. And this is the one round Astralis did not throw them pre-mollies, I think. They threw one towards Squeaky, but immediately get smoked out. Okay.
Apocalypto.
End of the world.
It is done.
2012 all over again.
So, this happened yesterday as well, apparently, Seaside.
Yeah.
These are one of the issues that CS has been experiencing in the last couple of days.
It's a love child.
Yeah, I mean, it came with a great operation, but
I haven't played it.
neither have I.
I've been napping.
The competitive essence is going to be struggling with that. What an unfortunate turn of events.
It is. And just when Mousesports switch up the pace, too, right?
I was going to say, it's
right when they turn it on, and that round was critical, right? Because they win that's a reset, and they get 2 openers unanswered. Immediate reset. You're on 15 before Astralis can get a bye. and the rest is just it's scary.
I mean, that to me is flashbacks of Astralis versus Virtus Pro on Train at the E-League Major.
Yeah.
When Glaive calls the timeout at the end of the game, and then Astralis just pick up that pace and just fly out T-Con into the A site. So it's kind of sweet revenge here as Mousesports take one from their game book and just throw it their way.
Yeah.
You could see the player coming in from Mini, while he had thrown out a grenade, was kind of just caught in the open with his pants down.
Chris J was already in sight. He wasn't ready for that.
I mean, think about it this way, right? We see the same thing from Mousesports on that pistol round, I believe in the 22nd, when they fly out of both Squeaky and Hut with the pistols. They take the bomb
Chris
site.
J again.
Exactly.
Yep.
And you could argue that it's actually that round and the 21st with that A-Rush that completely allows Mousesports to put together this bit of a comeback, right? They had their backs against the wall, Astralis with deep double digits, and Mousesports at a very low score. Suddenly that gets flipped on its head, and it's been nothing but Mousesports since. So
yeah, they keeping the economy in check. Even the rounds Astralis win.
Yep.
They don't get much out of it, like player-wise.
No.
Like they're not getting much. Their economy's been kind of hampered. It's been kind of dull. Mousesports have done both sides have done a lovely job on the T side, from taking pressure towards outside, being a little kind of like an unknown card in the deck, not sure what site they're going to head to, whether it be A or B. And that's the nice thing about Outer Yard. We've touched about it as well. So both sides have had lovely T sides. Mousesports switch up the pace that round, and I'm hoping to see they may do it again. Who knows? But it looks like it did end up playing out. So
it's both CT sides have won their pistols, or rather, Astralis get that. So Astralis get it in the second round, right? Like, look how mirrored these halves have been. You've got
almost
exactly mirrored, but in this case, it's the CTs just on for Astralis getting the second round as opposed to the first. But then also most notably is those hard resets at the end of the half, right?
They're rough.
Finally, we see a response from Mousesports, and then the next round it's shut down. And that can exactly be said for Astralis as well, as we see with the previous one. So kind of struggling with the economic situation were both teams, and I think it's within the realm of reality that this could go to OT.
Yeah.
Depending on buys here.
Depends how heavily Astralis want to go in here. Now, if they don't even want to contemplate OT being a thing, and they just want to fully commit here to get 15 themselves, then you're in a weird kind of limbo world where you can almost think, oh, Mousesports are going to be going up against two half mixed buys from Astralis. So it's going to be A, lacking utility, and B, lacking firepower, because they're going to have a mixed buy of SMGs with pistols. It's not a world where it's out of the realm of possibility for Mousesports.
Nope, by all means.
So we are just waiting for these players to get in, and we'll get right back into the action, and all of our questions will soon have answers, which is nice to know. It's comforting.
It's like I'm back. Hello.
Hey, what's going on?
It's like we're having a smooth game one for you guys.
It's buttery.
It's funny actually. The first delay was just a knife round. Someone messed up the knife round. I heard that someone was AFK. Then Christian was like, "No, it's fine. We'll go 4v4." And then it wasn't a 4v4. It was like a 5v4 or something. And then it went from there. So it had to like restart everything. And so it's good though. You guys are getting the test of filling time, the classic test of delays. It's been really weird this week, of course, with all the updates. We've been having these issues constantly with either players getting kicked off the servers or just generally having these flash updates as well to fix certain things. To be honest, though, we actually had one error yesterday, or bug yesterday, which we had to get fixed, which was where we had all the numbers reversed for the players on the side. So it was displaying the right number next to the right place. It's in a different order. So if you like look at it, you look at like device's name, and that would be like 5 instead of a 1. So I can't imagine how that actually was for poor Sliggy, our observer. But close game so far, guys. Astralis not finding it as easy as perhaps I may have thought.
Yeah.
So maybe you're right. T-side.
Well, I don't know. I kind of just took a shot in the dark, looking how close the Mousesports match was with Fnatic. That went to OT. And then it kind of comes down to the T sides now of Nuke, as I look super beat red. Jeez, it's okay to look like a turn up on something.
I look bronzed.
Nothing wrong with that.
Bronzed.
Let's just say I'm sunburnt. I'm going to run with that.
I mean, you are Canadian in California.
I am completely out of water, like a fish out of water. I go from freezing cold, winter hibernation, to complete sunlight, no rain, no snow. And I am just a complete different beast.
This is your like first flight, right?
First flight.
First time on a plane.
First time on a plane, first technical time in the States. Like I've been to Buffalo, but that's easy for me.
Right,
But
right.
first time in the States.
This is a good state to come to. California's
Yeah,
pretty
it's a
good
perfect,
one.
nice place to be.
It's super sunny. It's amazing. It's like you just feel good all the time. I don't know what that's like until I came here, and now I have to just move it. It's like, what is this? I feel good.
Sunlight.
I like this.
It's weird, eh?
Yeah, everyone's nice and relaxed and so on. Well, actually, speaking of being relaxed, how was your first flight, right? Because a lot of people fly when,
Yeah.
like, I guess you're fairly young, right? You're 20?
20.
20, okay, yeah. All right.
It was nerve-wracking at first because I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, assessing the situation. I actually had the whole row to myself. So I got
Nice.
super lucky with that. But then with some luck comes some disappointment. Baby behind me, baby to my left, and another baby like 4 rounds up. So I was surrounded by babies, saved by the soundproof headphones, thankfully. But the babies, they cried a little bit. But other than that, no turbulence, straight flight, little to no delays. Didn't get lost in the airport, which I was scared about. I get lost, I start to do circles. So I couldn't do that in lax. There's no turnaround signs, so it was good. Smooth
That's
sailing
good.
for the most
All right.
part, yeah.
So, but do you think that like turbulence would freak you out or something?
I would probably freak out a little bit because I've seen some scary movies, Snakes on a Plane, some other scary movies that I don't react well to. And so if there was turbulence, I'd probably freak out a little bit, just
Alright.
a little bit.
How are you, Scrawny? How many flights have you done?
Um,
You fly around a lot? Are you a well-traveled man?
yeah, I'd say so. I've done trips before when I was younger, like backpacking trips as well, not just necessarily esports flights. So I've got my fair share of flights. I spent some time in Peru, spent some time in Thailand, done my tours.
Nice.
Yeah.
I say to do Thailand.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to Thailand. Sounds amazing.
It is. I highly recommend it. Definitely do it if you can. But yeah, no, flight here was also just great. We had some turbulence actually, most notably. But that was actually, I find it kind of exciting. It's like a roller coaster, right? You get that feeling in your gut when your stomach all of a sudden comes up to your chest. And maybe I'm weird, but
Definitely.
it's fun.
It is really weird actually. Like I think the worst one for me was I was flying to MLG Aspen, and I almost missed the flight, and they did only like one flight a week from that destination. So I was just generally in an anxious mood, and got on the flight, and Colorado Aspen, obviously like in the mountains, and like the runway, so you can't even see the runway when you're landing. You're like going between like 2 rocky surfaces, like trying to like get in the middle, and there's insane amounts of wind, and obviously like most of the flights at that point actually had been cancelled because of the weather conditions were too bad. So I basically accepted at that point I'm probably going to die. So you just accept it and you sit there. It's like definitely going to die right now, and you make peace with it. It's all good. But speaking of making peace with things, sometimes we have to make peace with technical difficulties. It is time to take a very quick break, guys, whilst things get resolved. Hopefully it will be resolved quickly, and we shall be back with the conclusion of the game.
Do you play Counter-Strike?
14 apiece between Mousesports and Astralis. Quick little rundown of what occurred in that moment, or what the outcome is rather, and that is Astralis lose the round. They lose 2 players because of the fast entry from Mousesports, and they decide to save the 3 weapons that were still standing. So those 3 guns grandfathered into this one. Mousesports get that 14th round to tie the game back up, and Keith, it is in the open. Who will win?
Yeah, and you see Astralis immediately just forcing up into it. So 2 UMPs, full utility on everyone, full buys for both teams. Last round was critical. Astralis keeping 3 players alive. The op on device is kind of one of these important factors that can go into play into this. And it was a change of pace from Mousesports that really caught Astralis off guard.
Yeah.
It was a quick push into A. They haven't done it for a while. It's been very default heavy, very smoke swords outside heavy. And Astralis kind of compensated for that for keeping a couple more players focused on outer and just keeping 1 player towards ramp. So they kind of shifted that immediately. The explosion play from Mousesports, get them 14-14. And now we're going to be going into this one. Not much, like this game has been a nail biter. Not much more you can really ask for when it comes to nuke. You've seen presence kept, you've seen defaults played, you've seen executions thrown, and you've seen clutches. And you've seen just a man named Oscar just going absolutely off. So.
Yeah, he's been having a crazy game. Multiple people in this server currently with lots of frags. I mean, right? Zipex device, that duo really rolling from Astralis, Dupree up there as well. A bit of a quieter game from Kirby and Glaive. But with the rest of the team still putting up numbers, they should be fine, right? And again, same thing on the opposite side. Oscar, Rops, and Dennis really pulling ahead here. So nice to see the young gun in there. Nice to see Oscar back on the op and finding damage, but without any further delay. We're back into it. So here we go. Round 29. It's all in the cards. Astralis not going to get caught off guard by a fast play again. That was the one round that Mousesports should get away with it. Already we see Glaive getting himself over towards the secret once more. But he's not going to play the staircase. This time he's just going to tuck himself into the corner here. And the opening frag goes the way of device. So Rops gets plucked immediately into this one. Glaive's going to get a lot of targets in front of him, but he only takes 1. Lowell trading the frag back, and now we see Mousesports just transitioning towards B. The entirety of Astralis coming their way.
Zipnex is waiting control. The first player's going to come down, gets the opener. The second is there due to that HP on the well. As leaves it all on Oscar in a 1v4. Has the op, has time. But Astralis have done a great job at locking down Secret. Glaive getting the opener, rotations coming through, Zipnex sitting in towards control. As Oscar, 1v4, a minute clock, down to a smoke, double flash. They know where he is, and he's kind of like a mouse in a trap almost at this point. Gonna try and get out from Secret. A little delayed on that, but Dupree cleans it up. So Astralis get to 15. The saved weapons going to work right there, especially Zipnet scores control, just shut down that double doors, push onto B. Mousesports will have plenty of money to get a buy, but Astralis are just a hair away from closing this one out.
Yeah, that's another situation where Astralis are able to find the kill onto Rops first and foremost, and we had discussed how Rops has very successfully been applying pressure towards the vent, and that's how they've been able to justify that B-site split. Without him being a piece of the equation, we see them sure get down Secret, but then it just falls to pieces. Oscar tries to get a pick into the 30th round right out the gates, but no, Zipex is able to smoke it off and pushes aggressively forward. This could be the round that maybe the ramp flank comes into play, because Oscar's going to have that off, but up close and personal, the AK, or the M4 rather, could become a real threat. So the option is there for Zipex if he were to so choose. Mousesports with the outer control are waiting for this kind of a push, waiting for Astralis to make that mistake. However, Astralis, known to be the team that doesn't do exactly that.
So the smoke Dennis is about to throw is kind of keeping presence and pressure towards outer. I'll talk about it more later, but that smoke basically is to just keep eyes forward towards red box, and now they're immediately going to transition up towards their upper. Second smoke blooms towards there, they'll throw 1 player towards Marshmallow. It looks like Mousesports are content to go for a push here in towards A. Dennis, big gap for the door to work with, great smoke coming in from Astralis. As they have a player heaven, player mini, and a player backside. Glaive's going to try to hold on, but it looks like Mousesports gets stuck behind the smokes. They're just going to try to wait him out.
Full flash, though. Sprays wildly. Nothing connects. Rops and Dennis take 2, and Device takes 2 of his own. So now the T-side crumble, one after another. It's just down to Lowell and Oscar, but Oscar's got the bomb, and it's going to get planted towards B. We're going to see Astralis try to get down here as quick as they can, and Lowell, I believe, still playing outside of the vent, so it's going to be from ramp that the CTs must come through. Zipnex and Device both already here, so Lowell's position towards A is going to come up empty-handed. Astralis try to peek at the same time, but Oscar's taken 1, and so it's just down to Device.
1v2, Bum's taken, he's going to clear out danger. He's going to push into one side, the door gets open, and of course it's Oscar to send us to OT. Who else would do it? It's Oscar, 29 frags in regulation time, 29-16. He's had just such a good game, and I feel like it's a talking point. You mentioned it's kind of like old reminiscent to Nico just going off. But this time Oscar has some teammates there going off with him. 25 for Rops, 20 for Dennis. It's the whole team just playing well as a whole. As Astralis will get pushed to the brink, and it's giving me flashbacks to that Fnatic game that went to OT. It only lasted the first OT, however, as now both teams don't have to worry about money into these buys.
Yeah, this is the kind of situation that Astralis have been in time and time again. And this is like, I mean, this map in general was going to be a great opportunity for Mousesports to prove themselves on an online environment. But now to be in overtime, you kind of get that additional variable, right? That extra layer of this now being higher pressured CS. Ooh, Glaive just pops the head of Dennis and just decides to tuck tail. Gets out of there, takes the man advantage, and it's Chris J still lingering towards Squeaky that looks for something of his own. Rops finds the response, however, and that's Dupree now dusted. Kierby still playing from behind the silos, and he sees the man coming forward here. Rops gonna hear the shots, and he falls. Traded back by Zipnix yet once more. 3-on-2, but the health going the way of Mousesports.
Yeah, Device and Zipnix heavily tagged. Oscar's gonna start to work towards the ramp. He has only a flash to his name while Lowell has a smoke for it. So if a smoke and a flash to work, make a play. Look at this angle help from Device. Oscar's looking to challenge it. Device is holding it. Who's going to spot the other first? And it is going to be Oscar to come out on top. That's going to be an incentive to push into B. Leaves the bomb, as well as a little bit staggered behind him. Smoke onto site. Picks up the bomb. Look for him to plant it, as Oscar's going to cover. Normally it's the other way around, right? You want your rifler to cover, but this time they have full faith that it's not going to start to fall apart for him, but it almost does.
Yeah, so close. Lowell removed by the frag grenade of Glaive, so that's a nice bit of utility expended. It's just down to Oscar. 2-1 frag on the round, and he's going to need 2 more here. Now, he's got a bit of a position, but the problem with being behind these boxes is he's pinned, right? If they look in from above, then he's just going to get unrooted, and the Molotov will force him out. So again, Glaive with great utility usage, but a flick from Oscar makes that a little too close for Astralis' liking. Good job by Glaive. 3 kills on the round, and really 2 of them caused by his grenades.
Yeah, his rotation was just on point. He almost denied the bomb plant, the nade cleans it up, and that's what solidifies the 2-on-1 to allow Astralis to pick up that round. Mousesports, however, will get another buy here. We'll see what it will fully include momentarily. So it will be another op. It will be the rifles. They got the cash. Might as well spend it. Meanwhile, Astralis, not too hampered. They keep 1 player alive, although, you know, it's OT. You don't really... It doesn't become a factor until later, next round perhaps, as it is going to be 16-15. Chris J gonna nade Squeaky. Molly towards Mini early. As this is a switch up from Astralis, keeping Device just kind of on the edge of Mini, but keeping a player tucked in close to HUD as well, on top of silos. Glaive just eats a Molly, gets a frag, and gets out of there. So that's another opener for Astralis, a second one untraded. As those are the smokes I was talking about, but Mousesports still get picked apart with them.
Yep, Dennis is going to find an entry here through Mini, though. So this is a chance for Mousesports to just stampede into A. You know that Glaive is still down towards the B bomb site. He falls back from Secret after finding that initial pick. And Device is still stuck inside of Garage. So there's a bit of an off-centered positioning from Astralis at this point. Mousesports see an opportunity, and they really explode into it there. Nicely done. Zipex trying to nip at the heels of the man outside, trying to get behind the A play before it really hammers home. Glaive just lingering inside of the vents as well as we see Mousesports push out from Hut. They've got the bomb on the site. They're going to smoke off Mini. That counters the op, which they now confirm is still outside. And as the numbers get punched in, it's Mousesports with some heavy after plant position. Zipex is going to come in from the flank, but they've already got the terrorist up in the heavens above. So Zipex, spotting the man behind vent, can hold him here, but Astralis need to find room within the site itself. The Molotov might just be the solution, though, and Chris J is going to feel the heat, but he takes the headshot in 2! Onto Device, just down to Glaive. Mousesports bounce back.
Chris J just did a work towards that vent. Mollied out, still found 2 favorable engagements. Got 2 frags, didn't even burn alive. He just casually walks out, and he has full trust in his teammates to deal with the second player Mini. Mousesports get 16s. They even got opened up on. So that's 2 opening picks for Astralis that go unanswered. Immediately, Mousesports. Their smokes are still deployed. They still have a small window of opportunity to take advantage of it, and they do fully. Pushing into Mini, getting the opener, 16-16 now. As Astralis are out on a MAGA UMP here on the, well, first round of the first half of OT number 1.
Device still trying to find an angle, but he's going to get pressured here, and he's down to 20 points of health as Dennis is hot on his heels, but he's got support from above. and that could be the difference. The man shifting down to Hell gives a small chance for that peek, but it's Rops inside of Lobby that catches the flank of Kierby, and Device removes one from above. The man still inside of Garage, though, could be the thorn in his side, and while he hits him through the wall, he still survives. Traded back by, again, Glaive's nade, Oscar with a response, and again, it's just so chaotic. 2 versus 2 ensues, made 1v1, Oscar with another. But it's Zipex, arguably the best clutcher in the world, and a minute left on the clock to play off of.
And not only does he have a minute, he has bomb right at his feet. So it's really all on Oscar to come towards Zipnex. He's actually going to jump up on chairs. A little thing to note there is it's a different angle. It's more height, an unplayed angle, possibly can catch Oscar off guard as he's going to scan around the corner with the hop. He knows where the bomb is, but he's unsure where Zipnex may be around it. As Oscar's going to slowly push forward. Will he check his right? He will. Can't find the no-scope. Zipnex will shut him down. So Astralis will take 2. Mousesports get 1 on the T side. As that's actually an interesting trend here on overtime number 1, as both teams have had weaker CT sides. So it's interesting to see the T side of Mousesports only get 1 round there in OT. Maybe that'll play a factor as if Astralis come out like they did on their first half on the T side. It might just be game over here on the T side for them. So
yeah, that's the thing, right? It's been a while since Astralis were found on the offense. Mousesports get that sweet transition rate into it. And speaking of transitions, they're going to go right to the double op. So we saw this before from them, and it worked wondrously. If we're going to see the picks from Oscar, though, that's really going to be the big question. Last time he tried to play from Heavens, but it's going to be Chris J outside and Oscar towards ramp. Great little team flash here to try and force Astralis back as Chris J finds the opening pick. Dennis, again, has a teammate flash for him, but Kierby with a headshot knocks him down. The op shot from Chris J near takes another, but it is still the 4v4.
Minute 25. Astralis will be content to trade that out. Kirby's down to 7 as Dupree's just going to be the man to keep pressure towards Lobby. Glaive gets down Secret. So Astralis are kind of very separated at this point, where they have 1 player Secret. The last 3 are towards Lobby with Bomb. So there's a lot of pressure on Glaive to almost make a play in this situation. Draw the attention, get the opener. I could even see him walking all the way to ramp, or even walking Hell, to just find a frag, open up something for his teammates. As the clock continues to tick down to 57, Kirby just sitting and waiting for a push. Zipnex will be here with him. As Mousesports, though, content to sit themselves. I think they have 1 player Heaven, 1 player Hell, player on A site, and a player in ramp. So very, very cautious positioning.
Yeah, they're very ambiguous with where they want to stack right now because, again, this is a situation where Astralis, while they're not taking a lot, they're also not giving up much information. But it's Oscar who nearly gets caught out towards ramp, and that would have been a massive opening for Astralis. They're going to try and commit, and as Oscar takes Zipex, he's going to tuck tail back towards the B site, allows Chris J to rotate in, and these ops are just crushing the offense. Glaive's able to respond with 1 of his own, but it is still the man advantage for Mousesports, and a lot of presence from Astralis towards B. No bomb plant, however, as it's just down to Glaive, and this would be one hell of a clutch with 10 seconds on the clock.
He has to find a 1v1 or get the bomb plant. It looks like he is just going to try to bait someone out. 5 seconds, that's the round, unless they all face him at once. Won't win the initial engagement. Well, we'll put him down 17-17 as we continue to go back and forth. Astralis, they get opened up on. They get Glaive into a money position, but then they go towards ramp, and the ops should shut it down. Chris J. Oscar, again, a man whose name's been said so many times so far this game. It's hard not to put him as a focal point, though. He's at 36 frags, and we're in just the first OT. It's crazy.
We'll see what Astralis can throw their way. And of course, if they're not able to win this round, it's going to be down to the 3rd, the last one. Backs against the wall. And that's certainly not going to help. A bit of damage done. Kierby drops to 70, and Lowell finds the opening frag here to Zipex. So that's again the angle from Zipex on the squeaky door. We've seen him try that multiple times. He attempts to clear the top of hut by just peeking underneath, and this time it costs him his face. The wall of smoke from Astralis yet once more, but they're not trying to be so secretive. Instead, just moving that bomb straight down, making a bunch of a noise, but then coming back to boost Device, and he's trying to find that pick. Oh, if Oscar only knew his life hanging by a thread, but he's going to walk away with it for now.
Chris J is in big garage. They're going to transition back to him. That's a shot Chris J has to hit, but he will clean up to get one at least before he falls. To keep the man advantage to Mousesports' side, Dupree is walk pushing up towards Catwalk, looking to go towards Heaven. Device will spot Dennis. Somehow that shot is just a leg. Down to 15 will Dennis fall. Dupree gets to Heaven. He's looking to deal some kind of nuisance, if not find a couple frags. And look at the patience from Dupree. He gets one, transitions to the 2nd in sight. What a play from Dupree to open it up as Glaive will say thank you very much to run in and plant the bomb. Dennis and Rops have to try to make a miraculous retake, and Dupree's having none of it.
Yeah, this round's all Dupree. I mean, he uses that opportunity to get into heaven while there was still the fight outdoors, but it's Rops once more in a 1 versus 2. We've seen him here before in almost the exact same position, and he came up nearly with the round. This time, he spots the man below, sprays and takes it, and up close is Dupree, but Dupree with 4 will find the round for Astralis, and that is exactly what they needed. They secure themselves at the very least that second overtime, and it's Mousesports now who have to come up big when it absolutely matters most.
Question is, OT2, or is Astralis picking this one up? That's really where we're headed right now. Can Mousesports force out another OT, or will Astralis finally put this one to rest? And give Oscar a pat on the back, but say, no, we still get this map. As Chris J is going to be out towards Big Garage. He has teammates aggressing here. Glaive has to be careful as he places on the edge of the smoke. Open around to Dennis. He is just going to fall back safely now. As Astralis will have that one-man advantage. Oscar's playing for Mini. He needs some help shortly as well. Just going to hold towards Hut. Looks like Astralis is getting ready to put this one to bed.
Yeah, Lowell, though, catches bomb, so that's a lot of information gained and the 4v4. Device removed as well, one of the heavy hitters for Astralis. Chris J is going to take the op and try to get to ramp in time, and he hits Dupree as well. Once more, his side is turned. We've seen those picks on multiple occasions now, and it's going to happen in what is arguably the most important round. Mousesports still with a chance, as Kierby will remove another, but he's down to a quarter of his health as well. Minute on the clock still to play off of. These are the kinds of situations that just go back and forth yet once more, and it's going to be Mousesports with a small edge with this one.
45 seconds. Glaive's going to jump down ramp, has a molly. That's all Astralis have to work with. Zipness is going to go meet up with him. Glaive's going to be the first one down. 35 seconds. Oscar's in the money spot, though. He sits here, waits out for the plant to get for the bomb to start to go down, and Oscar can single-handedly end this round, as he is going to push in towards control, won't spot anybody, but Astralis have fallen silent until just there as Oscar will hear him fall, and now this is kind of just this play. This is the play, but they plant. Look at the safe plant. Such a heads up plant.
It's a perfect way to circumvent Oscar's position, right? You know there's a man over towards control, or at least you assume so. You take the rafter and fall in, and now both of your players are committed to the same after plant spot. So this is a really good chance for them to just trade frags out, or even allow Zipex to get behind enemy lines. He's spotted those, so now they know. And he tries to re-engage. Glaive's just attempting to hold off on the bomb, but now they're pinched both sides. It's Zipex to find another. Glaive still looking for an angle as the gun duels ensue. It's Oscar to come up with the next. He goes for the reload, taps the door once, and he sprays one, but he doesn't take the second, and Mousesports will bring this into double OT.
Unreal. Both of these teams are just going tooth and nail, back and forth. Another OT. Glaive almost had it. You saw the reload. There was 7 bullets. That's a couple more seconds off that defuse. Then the spray comes through.
Look at this.
This is unreal. And Oscar playing with a door actually probably saved the round there. There was a hole for Glaive. With the door was just enough to eat enough bullets. Chris J lives on 69, and that's what pushes us to OT number 2. And it just goes to show how dynamic these teams are and how going back and forth they are. The openers aside, these dudes are just going tooth and nail. They're just playing it out.
Jeremy tries to pick up the pace, and Zipnex is there to trade. Dennis does the same as he finds Dupree. Zip still up close and personal, as is Dennis, spraying down 2 and taking it all just down to Glaive. That aggression not paying out. Astralis try to pull a Mousesports, and in this case it costs them. So the CTs will find that opening round.
Quick play from Astralis, and Mousesports just swat it down. That's not much you can really read into that one. Just Astralis trying to switch it up, go for something quick. Something different than their wall of smoke, something different than their default holding lobby, keeping pressure towards ramp, which has been a focal point. Ramp is interesting. This entire match has been a focal point, but later in the round. You've never really seen an early push towards ramp like a quick play. It's been throw a smoke towards there, wait it out. Halfway through the rounds, if your default don't get anything, send a couple players ramp, but always keep outer pressure, and that's what Astralis have been doing. As again, the wall of smokes will come out. Astralis are going to try to fight behind them. As Mousesports have been put in a situation where the wall of smokes have been deployed, countless times have they been forced into playing around it.
They're going to go for that walk down secret yet again here, so Astralis not giving up information. Again, you can use that wall of smokes and then keep everybody over towards lobby, and the CTs will be none the wiser. That's the beauty of that wall of smokes if you don't combine it with flashbangs and gunfire and whatnot. So Rops is going to feel the heat down towards control, and he's the first to fall in this round as now Astralis explode towards the B site. They're waiting though. They want to catch the man rotating through vent, and they do. Kierby pops Dennis, and a 5-on-3 ensues. Chris J though with a bit of a response, and Device does the same, so it's just down to Lowell. He too toppled as the Astralis will tie it up.
Yeah, Astralis did a great job there of not only getting the opener to the site, Rops, and then just immediately continuing to just push into the site. They also cut the rotations off at the knee, putting pressure towards vents, putting pressure towards ramp. Mousesports had no chance to get back even close to the site. They're dying in vents before even taking any engagements with the players in post plants in the sites. They had to deal with the players cutting off rotations first, and that just didn't pan out. Astralis doing a lovely job there, 19-19, as the double up actually comes out from Mousesports here. So expensive, a little irrelevant right now, but it's a switch up that we haven't seen since regular time, I imagine.
Device is trying to find that op duel in the outer yard, but he finds nothing of the sorts for the time being. Dennis going to set the flashbang, and we've seen a lot of nice little team flashes happening on that outer yard. It's so crucial of a portion of the map, and it's going to be Oscar up close with the duel. The no-scope connects, and he's going to get another chance, but no. Glaive sprays him through the edge of the wall, and the trade frag goes the way of Astralis. Still, they continue towards the site, and the rotations come down. This time, nobody inside of the vents. Instead, the emphasis on ramp. Dupree with a Molotov is going to burn off one section of that, and it keeps Rops on one side of this double peak door. The smoke blocks off that option from him, and still so much time for Astralis. These are the moments I love to watch this team, right? Look how they just come back in towards upper. They're just going to transition away and allow for Zipnix to find another frag on A. Mousesports never see it coming.
That's what you love to see as an Astralis fan. They fight for control early, then the mid-round calls are so good where they can transition to anywhere else across the map and catch you off guard. As Rops will find Dupree. I don't think anyone else is going to push down that vent. They're just going to sit and wait. As they do have a molly, 2 mollies and a nade to work with as Mousesports, as Chris J opens it up there from lobby. Zipness is posted towards heaven while Glaive is going to get himself to hut. And the bomb is taking away Mousesports. This is doable. But look at Glaive's positioning. Spots the player to mini, but Rops wins it. Zipnix 1v3, and he can only get one as Mousesports will get this last round of the first half, second OT. Becoming a mouthful, slowly but surely.
So they're getting it there, right? They've got that lifeline now for Mousesports, but I think that was a great example of how Astralis are such a difficult team to read. If we go back to regulation time, we really saw them exploiting that wall of smokes on the outer yard, but they'd always have a slight variation on what they do. They had the opportunity to just walk down secret, then we'd see them just shift through the smoke and hit up into mini, and in overtime in these last 2 rounds, well, we see that taking of the secret, and in the previous round, they get caught out rotating to B. That was the issue for Mousesports. So this time, they hesitate with that rotation. And what do Astralis do? They use that opportunity to go back towards A and catch Mousesports with their pants down. So now it's on the Mousesports side to come up with some rounds here, as it is going to be Astralis with a 1-round deficit.
1-round deficit. Oscar's looking for the opener, so typical smokes now, I think we can call them. Pretty much the default smokes thrown at this point is Glaive. Going to start it off well for Astralis. He's able to find Dennis as he's going to fall back towards the box. This catwalk smoke is keeping him well safe for now until he walks through it. Not much a smoke can do when you end up going through it. Zipnix is going to hold here. Shots come his way. Rops will actually take him down through the smoke. That's a huge kill now to bring it back to just a 1-man deficit as he loses 2 teammates towards outer. Feels obligated to find a trade frag and will do so just immediately.
Chris J's just trying to be lurking around these yards, and that's what Glaive was doing as well, right, when he repositions behind the blue box. But Chris J's up on top of the first roof, and he's making a lot of noise. So Glaive, no, doesn't hear it.
Wow.
And it's a 1-tap execution from Chris J, traded back by Dupree as he finds Rob. Still, Chris keeps going. He hits Kierby at the top of the ladder, and suddenly they can split this A site, but the man rounds the corner, and Dupree takes him down. It's all onto Oscar to clutch, and he's found the first. Up close and personal was Device, but Dupree has had enough, and he hits the headshot as Oscar falls. Tied game once more.
Huge 3K from Dupree, locking it down inside. Not only did he shut down Chris J, then he's allowed to transition his focus to the last player of Oscar, with a little hampering him in that situation. Oscar tried to be cheeky with it and try to fall down vents, knowing he was sight. But a great timing on the peak from Dupree to get himself the third. 2020 is this game stays close, stays competitive, And it stays exciting, too. It's like both teams like switching up their default, switching up quick plays. And this is the first time we're going to see almost kind of like a quick push play from the T side, from any team side towards ramp. As it looks like Chris J is just going to pump the brakes a little bit, try to find the entry. Zipnik's just tapped away from Chris J. An entry from him. He's just been the man of many talents so far.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be another great little highlight for him on the rifling role, right? He's given up that primary op to Oscar, and Device with an op of his own. Near takes a second till Oscar himself responds back. So Mousesports continue with that man advantage. The rest of the team joining forces from ramp. They want to flood into the B-bomb site and find this plant before Astralis arrive. But there's already a man over here towards Decon, and that's Dupree with 11 HP. Not much to work with, as now the bomb's gone down.
Retake. Molly smoke, double nade. There's the last flashbang. He's going to send Kirby towards control. Glass hit's broken, man advantage for Mouse. Glaive gonna molly dart, peek. Able to find Rops, but it's still looking good for Mousesports. So the bomb takes away. Dennis will strike from Toxic. Immediately traded from Dupree, who's not expecting a second player towards ramp. Now it is all Dupree. 11 HP, and he will go down. Mousesports continuing to push the envelope just a little further and further. And now Astralis' buy is going to include a UMP. Now, of course, if anyone can do it, it is Astralis.
Yeah.
So granted, this buy is still dangerous in the hands of Astralis. But Mousesports now, I think they're feeling comfortable. Look for the outer smokes again, knowing that Astralis' economy is going to be hurt into this possibly last round.
Yeah, this is Astralis having to show up when it matters most. Mousesports look as though they want to get aggressive. Oscar's going to try for that peek we saw from Device, but he finds nobody on the receiving end of affairs. Instead of, there's a frag grenade. It's going to chip him down to 60 points of health. The entirety of Mousesports disengage from A, and they're going to weigh their options elsewhere.
Yeah, look at Device just waiting, hoping someone peeks. Does he have behind the bomb as well from there, or was that through the wall? So he will find Oscar, though. So they jump across, try to bait it out, and try to get the opener instead. Device isn't taking the bait whatsoever. He just finds the player who wants to peek him, opening for him Astralis. And of course it's Device to get it done for the op. And now Mousesports are put in this awkward spot where do we fall back? We put a lot of pressure on ramp. We don't have much map control. What's Astralis up to? And it looks like they're going to go ahead, throw the top red smokes, throw the outer smokes, which has pretty much been a bread and butter for both these teams.
Yeah, there's nobody going to be ever so close to this, though, from Astralis. They're going to have the eyes on from Glaive, but seeing as he does just have the ump, what's he going to do about it? Yeah. He's going to try to get closer to this and join forces with the man inside of Secret. But this is when Rops decides to open up shop inside of A. He blasts Kierby away, and Astralis with 2 responded from Dennis with 2 of his own. Oh, again, these rounds just back and forth, ever so close as Zipnex goes for the reload, re-peeks to his demise, Dennis with another, and it's just down to Device, but he too answers with the 5-7 and the op in hand, fully blind but no push, and he's going to try to get close.
No kit. Time's taken away. Dennis has to get a 4K to end this for Mousesports. Device is playing on the edge of the smoke, will upgrade to an M4, picks up a kit in the meantime, keep that in mind, taps the bomb, seeing if Dennis will peek. His timing going to work out here for Device. Dennis, lovely shoulder peek, and this may just get it done. He's toying with his food, as Dennis will do it. Device has to push him, and this may just be all she wrote, as Dennis has played this perfectly to a T. And I don't think there's enough time. I think that's it.
GG. Mousesports gonna somehow walk away with an upset on